story of Olga my wife.
My parents are non-standard persons. My mother was a woman who gave birth to 10 children, and she spent 4 terrible years of the Second World War in Hungary, empty and destroyed Moscow together with her children. My father went through the Great War, starting from Finland War in the year 1939 till the very end. In May of 1945, he got to Berlin. I was born a year later after the Great Victory. My mother was illiterate, only 3 classes of education, but she was very talented. She played guitar, sang wonderful romances, sewed and knit. There were a lot of us, and we all had to be dressed. Mom could knit a sweater just for one night. By chance, I studied in one of the best schools in the USSR. All teachers were from the Moscow State University, and the principal was a former diplomat. It was a school mostly for Soviet elite children, but during Soviet times, such things happened. While studying at school, I was interested in swimming and became the master of sports. Our mother motivated all of us to get high education. Obviously, this was the reason that I graduated from even 2 Moscow technical universities. I was a part-time student. It means I worked and studied in the evenings. After graduation, I worked as a lead engineer and head of the group in the Nuclear Research Institute Trinity near Moscow, led by academician Alexandrov. He was one of the founders of nuclear energy in the USSR. We worked very hard, but after the work, we had a possibility to listen to the most interesting singers of that time, such as Vysotsky, Whisper, Nikitin, Klyachkin, and others. Between studies, I gave birth to 2 daughters and a son. At the age of 40, I became a grandmother.
Под музыку Вивальди, 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 под музыку Вивальди, под вьюгу за окном. Печалиться давайте, 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 печалиться давайте об этом и о том, об этом и о том.
Я коней напою, я куплет допою, хоть мгновенье еще постою на краю.
But that Soviet life finished in 90s. Perestroika, Gorbachev, deep financial crisis, empty shops, unemployment. In 1991, our family, my husband and I, with 2 younger children, decided to move to Adler and Sochi. At the day we left Moscow, military troops entered the city. We drove our car passing the tanks which moves to Moscow. It was a completely new country, and we had to build another life from the beginning. In Sochi, I had a new profession. I became an IT teacher in a secondary school. At the same time, I got economic education in junior achievement. It was an American program. It became possible to introduce this program at school it was the only one school in Sochi where pupils got such education. Children after school could work as accountants. Also, I became the president of People to People Sochi chapter organization. That company was founded in 1956 by the president of USA, Eisenhower. It's a program for cultural and sociable exchange. I organized several programs with Sochi painters and musicians. So I visited USA twice. I have been to several cities in California, New York, Philadelphia, and Washington. After I returned to Moscow for 5 years to help my children to get higher education. The younger daughter entered the musical college named after Gnesins. At the same period, my son got the diploma of the producer and started working on TV in Moscow. The eldest daughter graduated from the business academy and got MBA diploma. My children started working and living by independent lives on their own. And my husband and I had decided to return to Adler. Later, I tried myself in a small business with rock music in accessories. Then a new opportunity appeared. We began traveling with my daughter. The elder daughter was very perfect in making routes. The younger one was a perfect driver for us. So we visited Western France, Bordeaux, Toulouse, Biarritz. We tasted delicious local French wine and ate the best oysters on the Atlantic coast. We tried foie gras and truffles. We made an unforgettable trip to Provence and the Côte d'Azur, passed through the places of Van Gogh and the Cézanne, Matisse and Chagall. We have been to Paris, Normandy and Bretagne, and we were impressed by seeing the legendary font of Claude Monet, which had been painting for long 40 years. Yes, my life was so lucky, and nowadays I go to university for studying English. I drive to my favorite countryside house in the mountain and enjoy my life totally. That's it for the moment. Thank you for your attention.